when we get started here, Shannon, tell us a little bit about when you came to Christ and how you came to Christ, if you would.
Sure. I didn't really grow up going to church, and I went to college in my freshman year. I was excited just to kind of be on my own and to start making choices of my own. And God got a hold of my life pretty quickly. And I was in a friend group that they were believers, and I just thought there's something different about this group of students. And so I was invited to go to a meeting, which I thought it was this weekly meeting that I had heard about from one of my sisters who was involved with Crew. And
Mhm.
so I went, and as I walked in, I quickly learned it wasn't the weekly meeting, but it was their weekly prayer meeting. So I,
Mm.
thought,
Oh,
like I
wow.
kind of started freaking out, like,
Mm,
I got to get out of here. And where I was, I thought I would have walked out, but where I was sitting, and the door was like clear on the other side. And so I sat there, and I was just like, I'm sure I had a panicked look because somebody looked at me and said, "You can just sit there. You don't have to do anything." And they
mm,
started praying, and I just thought, there's something different. And they were talking to this God, and it felt so real. And then
Wow.
they
mm,
started praying for the freshmen. And I thought, I'm one of those freshmen. And so I just, was invited into their weekly meeting, into a small group Bible study. A student that had been trained by some of our staff with Crew on my
mhm.
campus shared the gospel with me.
Mm.
And I sat there with Carolyn as she shared it to me, and I said, "Oh, yeah, I've made that decision." Because I thought, I can't tell her I haven't made that decision. And I went back to my room. She gave me a little booklet. I went back to my room and I read back through it. And it's the first time I really understood what it meant to have a personal relationship with God. And I
Wow.
sat there in my room and I just said, "Jesus, if this is real, I want it." And
Wow.
so I became a believer my freshman year of college, which I'm really, really grateful. Probably spared me from some really bad decisions.
Mm, mm.
But God just transformed my life in college.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is so encouraging. I almost teared up just thinking about, the power of God in those moments and in our ministry, even when they didn't plan that to be an outreach,
No.
but God did. And God's power was
Mhm.
evident there. And then how he used, it was probably the four spiritual laws, right? That you
Yes, it
read.
was.
Yeah. And my dad actually came to Christ the exact same way almost that you did.
Yeah.
He came to a crew meeting, and he just noticed something different about the environment and everything. He talked to the director. They had a
Yeah.
short conversation, but they gave him that four spiritual laws. He read it 7 times that night. And he was more into the hippie drugs, all that kind of stuff. And he said, if this is true, this is the best thing I ever heard, and gave his life to Christ right then. So that legacy of Crew, there's so many Christian leaders around the world, even that aren't with Crew now, that have been changed by this movement. So yeah, Steve as well, he was led to Christ by reading. His story is incredible. He was reading the four laws with someone else to share the gospel, and he realized he wasn't
Oh,
saved.
wow. Oh, wow.
So what
Yeah.
is it about Crew that has, obviously you're very connected with it because that's how you got saved, but what is it that has drawn you in to come on staff and now step into leadership of this movement here?
Yeah, after I became accepted Christ my freshman year, I actually went on one of our summer missions, stateside summer
Mm,
missions that summer. And again, I just felt like God just kept building into me. And discipleship, I think, made the biggest difference in my life. And I remember somebody asked me before I left for the summer, they said, "Would you ever go overseas on a summer mission?" So I'm like, "Oh, no, no way." And even on that stateside summer mission, we prayed for the world. We adopted a
mm,
country, we prayed for it. We prayed for this college students in that country. And at the end of the summer, I was like, "Okay, God, I'll go overseas if you call me." And so I found myself overseas the next summer. And so I think I was just captivated by the life change that I had experienced. And I thought, God, if I could do that for one person, then it would be worth it to join. And so I actually joined thinking I would do it for 2 years, and then I would go do
Right.
my plans. And my 2 years, I just hit 30 years, which makes me feel really old. But it's like I just couldn't. Every year I say, Lord, is this where you want me? And the Lord
Mm.
keeps saying yes. And it really, the fact that it's not just when you change one person's life, that multiplies out, and I've watched Crew change my family's life. When I came to Christ, I began praying for my dad, and I
Mm.
prayed for him for 17 years.
Mm.
Wow.
And he finally said yes to Jesus.
Wow.
Awesome.
And, it's because I was able to turn around and share my faith with him because I was
Mhm.
trained how to do that.
Mhm.
And just how powerful that is. And so I'm just captivated by Jesus and wanting others to be captivated by Jesus. And so that's what really keeps me in
Mm.
the mission, and that it's not just what we do here in the US, but it really is about the world, because Jesus died for all, and
Yes.
for all to know that is very significant. So
Mm.
I'm really grateful. Like some days I'm like, I can't believe I get to be a part of this.
Right.
So really grateful to do it.